Hello, this is new. Light's a little bad. I haven't done a lot of this before. In fact, I think this is an experiment. I want to learn how to do streaming. The thing I like about streaming is that it's very honest. With more constructive video, you get to piece your thoughts together. There's a little bit more time for scripting. There's a little bit more time for cutting out things that you didn't quite mean, adding graphics, and being a little bit more distilled. And this is more raw, which has an appeal that I want to explore a little bit. Hello, cat. So right now I'm working in the shop, and if anybody shows up, I will chat and answer questions in the chat. We'll see if that happens. Welcome. In the meantime, I'm going to go turn on the lights. I'm going to do that. Well, hello, somebody's here watching. How are you guys doing? Just answering questions. So the purpose of this is just to have a conversation with whoever shows up and to chat with the chat. In the meantime, these are some laser cut pieces I'm using to wind up bits of TPU cord for use as a drive band with 3D printed spinning wheels that I make, which are sitting right down there in the corner. So right now I'm just putting together orders. This isn't just wanted to say thanks for the spinning wheel design. You're welcome. Just finished ours. Wonderful. Did you 3D print it yourself? I'd love to hear how that went. It's awesome. Wizard's Garage. You have a really great YouTube name. Is there wizardry that happens in your garage? I think people should aspire to wizardry in their garages. Right now I'm measuring TPU cord. This is intended for 3D printing, but I've seen it used for drive belts. So this is an improvement that I'm trying to add to the spinning wheels, is to send it with a drive belt that's better than the yarn that I've been sending it with previously. The yarn works, it just, it's cheap. So I'm trying to upgrade a little bit. Neptune 4. Awesome. What colors did you go with? Nice. Black and a deep red purple for the wood. I've recently gotten a laser cutter, and I've got this idea of doing a Celtic nutwork wood burning into one of these spinning wheels just for my own use. I think that would look really cool. I haven't worked out exactly how to do that yet. I'm not sure that the laser head can go high enough to do that with my particular cutter. But the idea, that appeals. Incidentally, since you did the spinning wheel, want to see the loom that I'm working on? Over here behind the punching bag, there's a full-sized floor loom that is a current work in progress. So one of the things that I'm trying to do with it is to make the ratcheting mechanism simple and easy to 3D print. So this is a cap that goes on, thanks. This is a cap that goes on a piece of 2-inch PVC, and it's got a recess in it that fits this 5/16 bolt, which just happens to fit skateboard bearings perfectly. And then this will go through the same bearing block that I use on the treadle mechanism for the spinning wheel. And so that will index it forward. And then I've got a ratchet mechanism. This is prototype number 4 that indexes this forward with a lever. So that'll go together hopefully in the next week or so. And then as long as we're doing show and tell, this is the new box that I've made for the Char Kit. So the neat thing about it is I've used the laser etcher to show exactly where all the pieces get glued into place. So I'm hoping to release that in the not too distant future. It always takes me too long to make the listings. Prototyping is one thing. Getting it to the point of being functional is level 1. Getting it to the point of pretty is level 2. And then level 3 is actually getting the photographs and everything in place so that I can release it on the shop. Yeah. What else was I doing? That's right. Drawer of loose parts. And I'm assembling these bags for the fully assembled wheels. We thought about doing knot work on the wood as well. Maybe that will be for the next one. Awesome. Awesome. That sounds fantastic. I'm going to have to check out your channel. I've been running through Pinterest collecting good designs for knot work because not all knot work is created equal. I've been trying to get a sense of what I want to make. Incidentally, you don't happen to know of any good ways to convert JPEGs into SVGs, do you? There we go. Live streaming is such an interesting art form. I'm curious about it, which is the reason for this experiment, because it takes some of the training wheels off for YouTube. Kind of a strange way to put it. There's no chance for editing. Everything's on the fly. And I like it for that raw quality. I admire that in others, and I'm curious. I'm going to try that out. Oh, I get emoji buttons. Those are fun. That's awesome. Is this your first spinning wheel, Mr. Wizard? How's it going, Cat? Nice. Have you had a chance to try it out yet? Loving it so far, I'm assuming so. I, for the life of me, couldn't figure out how a spinning wheel actually worked. Like, there were a couple of unresolved details for me. I'd seen demonstrations and YouTube videos, but one thing that confused me was how, if you finished one piece of string, how do you attach the next piece of string onto the first one? And how exactly does the tension mechanism work? Won't it just yank it out of your hands? And in order to figure out how to use one, I ended up joining a Spinners and Weavers Guild in Southeast Idaho, the Snake River Spinners and Weavers Guild, and yes, there is such a thing. And it was really, really funny. I was working for a magazine company at the time, and on my lunch break, I went to this meeting at the Spinning Guild. It was me and a bunch of middle-aged women, and I was there mostly to try to reverse engineer how to make a spinning wheel at home, because I was way too cheap to buy one. And I felt like I didn't quite fit in. The conversation kept turning toward these women kept wanting to talk about their husbands, and then they kind of noticed that I was in the room and just stopped. And it was quite funny. I only went to, I think, 1 or 2 meetings, but that was enough to get a sense for how the wheels worked and to learn so much from these ladies. They introduced me to drop spindle spinning, and then I went home and made a spindle with some of the wool that they sold me out of a gavel. You know, the judge's wooden hammer. And that actually turned out to be the very first video that we made for the channel, back when I was still living in Idaho. If you are currently watching, please drop a comment in the chat. That's kind of going to dictate how this thing goes. I'd love to hear your thoughts and questions and ideas, something that would be fun to talk about. Throw it on in there. Trying to systematize more aspects of this 3D printing business, which you can see. Oh no, I'm stepping the wrong way. The 3D printers over here in the corner. The logistics part tends to be the hardest part for me. Just organizing how to ship everything. So right now I'm assembling these bags, and I know to put one of the bearings and bolts bags into a box, one of the bags full of screws, and one of the bags full of the parts for the flyer assembly. Awesome. Joined one about a year ago. So much knowledge. Absolutely. I love groups like this that keep things alive. It's fun. Trying to find a large number of these people at once is difficult. But I've loved going to living history parks and Renaissance fairs for that reason, because it's pretty typical for a spinning guild or a group like that to have a presence at one of these get-togethers, and then you just realize how many skilled people keeping old crafts and interesting ideas alive are in your local area. It's a remarkable thing. The collection of stuff that they had at this Southeast Idaho Spinners and Weavers Guild was absolutely incredible. And about a year ago, check back soon. We'll have to chat some more. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I think next time I might give a little more warning. If this is going to be a regular thing, it probably should be at an established time. This was very much a spur of the moment decision to just turn on the live feed and see what happened. Thanks for the conversation, by the way. And 2 of those. 2 wheel spacers. 6 of these pegs go in each of these bags. And the rest of what's in this bag is the bearings and the bolts. And the bearings are skateboard bearings. I design around those because they are easy to get a hold of for people who want to make them themselves. Starting behind, what's on the machines at the moment? Yeah, absolutely. Let's see how we're going to manage that. I can pick up the computer. Shall we do that? Hopefully none of you get motion sick, because that's going to be fun. How are we going to do this? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, hello, you're traveling with me. We've got bearings right here. Sorry, these are the spacers. These are parts for the table loom kit. Here we've got a set of bobbins. Here we have the flyer assembly and another instance of the flyer assembly. I'm running low on these. 2 printers that desperately need to be repaired. For me, it's the thermistor that always goes out. I've replaced the thermistor on several of these multiple times, and this is the very first time I've ever had one lose a heating element. That printer's been going strong since 2017. I actually unboxed this one on camera. And this one is doing a spoke. The wheel that I do is made out of 6 spokes that interlock, as in this one here. This one's made out of parts that didn't quite make the quality control cut. That one didn't finish a final layer. Most of these have some warping on the corners. I've got boxes of these. And the trick was trying to make a spinning wheel that would fit on the 3D printer, because I wanted one that was more substantial in diameter. Thanks for the encouraging comment. Awesome. Hey, good to see you guys. Welcome, Mr. Matt Hooks. Welcome, Double White and Stanley. Doble, White and Stanley. That's awesome. I'm glad that some encouragement helped. Man, encouragement is so incredibly valuable. Funny enough, the teacher in high school that had the strongest impact on my life was my driver's ed teacher. And I took driver's ed for all of, 2 or 3 weeks. Very, very short time period. But in that time period, this teacher just was encouraging, just generically encouraging. Gave the sense that I believe in you and I believe that you could accomplish good things in your life. And that, I don't know, stuck with me. So having experienced some encouragement, I'm really glad that you found some here in the comment section. That's wonderful. Welcome. Matt Hook, sorry I'm behind. What's on the machines at the moment? Yes, I can fly. I appreciate that. No motion sickness. We have notifications, so we'll keep an eye out for your next live. Thanks again. Awesome. Any other comments or questions or concerns or conversation starters? The purpose of this is very much just to chat with y'all. That is the best word that came out of the Southern vocabulary. We needed a way to distinguish the second person singular from the second person plural. And they delivered. In Utah, there's another one which I consider to be a linguistic abomination. And it's the second person plural possessive. And it's your guys's. Yeah, don't think about it too hard. Not my favorite thing. Okay, that's what I was doing. Okay, flyer bags. These ones, this is the very first part that I've made. Hey, Quinn. Good to see you, man. Trying an experiment. This is the first time I have ever done a live stream like this. This is literally just chatting with the chat, saying hi. So how is it going? It's going good. This is the very first laser cut part that I've ever made for the business, and it is the leather strap that goes across the top of the flyer assembly. 3D printed gun. Oh, I'm way ahead of you, man. I actually made a video about that. 3D printing guns it's fascinating. There's a little piece of anarchy deep in my soul, and the idea of 3D printing guns just tickles that absolutely. Yeah, I love it. It's one of those things where you can't stop the signal. Actually, I can show you one. Let's see if this gets banned. This, according to the ATF, is a gun, which is just funny. In philosophy, there's the ship of Jason and the Argonauts. There's the question of, if you have the Argo, the ship that Jason sailed with, and then you replace the mast, do you have a new ship? And then you replace a couple boards from the side, and the question is, do you have a new ship, or is it still the old ship just with a new part? And you can go and replace all the parts until eventually there are no parts left from the original, and then the question is, now do you have a new ship? And it's kind of difficult to answer the question, but it becomes practical, this philosophical issue, when you talk about guns, because we regulate them, right? So if you replace the trigger or a spring or the paint job on a gun, have you gotten a new gun? And it's kind of hard to set a line. You can buy springs in the mail. Okay. You can buy a trigger in the mail. Okay, that makes sense. You can even replace a barrel. So the way we regulate it in the United States is there's a defined part for every single gun that counts as the gun. And that's the one you need a serial number and a background check for. And so this one, this lump of plastic that holds a magazine and a trigger and a buffer tube, this is what counts as the gun, even though it does not go pew-pew. Isn't that funny? And indeed, at least where I live, that's legal to make. Spinning. We've got a comment from Matt Hook. Spinning yarn is fascinating, something so ancient that remains basically unchanged to this day. Modern spinning is mostly a matter of scale and reduction of labor. Yeah, I mean, the technology is identical. There's a couple technologies in textiles that are not identical to the way they were done historically. The one that I'm thinking of right now is sewing, because the way that we sew right now, if you sew with a needle and thread by hand, you have to penetrate the cloth and then come back from the other side and go up and down and up and down. But modern sewing does not do that. We puncture from one side, drag a little loop of thread from the top down, but we don't actually pass the thread all the way up and down. And then there's a second thread underneath that interlocks with it. So you end up having two threads. They're kind of doing a double helix across your fabric. And, you know, that is different in kind. And that's how all of our stuff made on a sewing machine is made. But spinning, it's identical. It's a bunch of fibers held together with friction that are twisted. A couple of exceptions to that. There are some extruded fibers that go the whole length, but I find the technology of spinning and weaving really interesting. The main steps, if you want to learn to spin, there's two of them. So this is a drop spindle that I make and sell on my Etsy shop. This one is called a Turkish spindle because I assume it was used in Turkey. I have no idea about the history. But it's kind of cool because these arms can be disassembled one at a time and leave you with a completed ball of string without actually unwinding it. And then the two steps to spinning are stretching the bundle of fiber out until it reaches the thickness that you want. And then you just add a little bit of twist to lock it at that dimension. And then suddenly it's string. And if you ever lose where you're at, you can layer this little bit of fuzz into the remaining fuzz that you have and stretch it as though nothing had ever happened and create a join or tangle things up. That's fun too. Part of the learning process. Other random fact is the Venus de Milo, you know, that statue of the Greek lady with her arms missing? The best guess that we have about what she was doing with those arms was probably spinning. So yeah, there's the join. Can't tell where it began or ended. The reason, one of the reasons why I'm really interested in spinning and weaving as technology is because that is the Industrial Revolution. If you want to understand the stuff that really changed people's everyday lives, a lot of it is in the spinning and weaving area. That's when it started to accelerate and become profitable to build factories. Okay. This is interesting. Any other thoughts? We're just chatting. That's all we're doing. Incidentally, how many of you guys are interested in HEMA? Looks like we have 10 people watching right now. I'm curious, do you watch a lot of live streams? Is this gosh, what would you call it? A media form that you prefer? Or is this just dropping by to see what's going on? Oh dear. With the 3D printers, if anything's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong with the first. Niner bots, I'm the only real viewer. Dude, internet solipsism is a thing. 100%. There's a really funny joke that I had this hilarious professor. Anyway, this joke goes, is it solipsistic in here or is it just me? And solipsism is this idea that everybody else is NPCs and that you're the only actual person who is real. So, it's funny. Sacrypt text. Hey, Joseph, are you a Mormon? I know what you mean by the question, but I'm going to answer it by saying I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So Jesus Christ is center there. But yes, we get called Mormons a lot. The kind of, I don't know. The Book of Mormon is a book of scripture. It's like the Bible, and it's divided up into books like the Bible is. So you know how the Bible has the Book of John, Book of Peter, the Epistles of Paul. Mormon is one of the books in the Book of Mormon. It's the last one. No, Mormon, Ether, and Moroni, the third to last. And I don't know. The issue with that name is that it takes the emphasis off of Jesus Christ, and it's created this idea among a lot of other Christian denominations that members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are not actually Christians. So we've been trying to get away from it. It's been a nickname for a long, long time. But yeah, did you ever been in Brazil on a mission? I can swear I saw you here in Brazil. I've never been. I've never been to Brazil. What part of Brazil are you in? I did serve a mission. I served it in the Netherlands and Belgium, and absolutely incredible experience. 2 years in my early 20s, so ages 19 through 21, and I did all the proselytizing and walking door to door and asking people if they were interested in talking to us. And the answer was almost always no. But had a lot of really interesting conversations with people on the street. Had a chance to teach English to mostly Chinese students in a city called Deventer. Did a lot of service projects, moved a lot of furniture. South Brazil, Sao Paulo. Nice. One of my mission companions while I was there was from Porto Alegre. And he was delightful. One of the best people I ever worked with on my mission. Also, one of the most talented. This guy, his name was Eduardo de Cruz. He could speak Dutch and English and Portuguese and French and Spanish fluently. And he was just a sponge for languages. I always don't want to talk to Mormons when they come to my house. No offense. None taken. I've had it to my face many, many times. The missionaries have a credo that they recite, which is our mission is to invite others to come unto Christ by helping them receive the restored gospel through faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, repentance, baptism, and the gift of the Holy Ghost, and enduring to the end. And the key word is invite, right? So that's all. That is the goal. It's not to convince. It's not to, what else would you say? Convert? Yeah, as though that's something you could do to somebody else, right? Ha! I got you. Doesn't work that way. But to invite. Hema is crazy. Sorry, I missed this comment from you, Mr. Hooks, Matt Hooks. Hema is crazy. Sorry, not enough padding in the world to let somebody swing a morning star at my head. So, a morning star. You might be thinking of like the battle. Gosh, what do they call that? Battle of the Nations, where they basically do full contact MMA in armor. That is so stupid on so many levels. I'm bashing it, which I guess they could take because they're kind of into the bashing. But armor works really well. So the way that they fight there is they're trying to inflict concussive trauma on each other and then get wrestling holds, and then you win if the other side gets knocked to the ground. They can't get back up. So the Battle of the Nations thing is funny to me because if they were using maces, they would work too well and they'd actually injure each other more than they already do. So they use blunt instruments that look like swords to hit each other, look like axes to hit each other. And if you were actually wearing armor, you don't fight like that. You don't try for the concussive hits because they don't work, because sharp things don't go through armor. Despite what Hollywood and even some period pictures would lead you to believe. HEMA is a little broader and in some ways narrower than the battle stuff, the Battle of the Nations. Stands for Historical European Martial Arts. It's an acronym, HEMA. Got to run, great stream. Hey, good seeing you, Quinn. Quinn is one of the most talented musicians I have ever met in my life. My favorite way to experience music in general is to hand him an instrument that he has never seen before and just let the man cook. And he can teach himself to play anything as he's playing it. I once handed him a mountain dulcimer, and the dude started figuring out chord progressions and figuring out how to play his current mood. Just absolutely phenomenal. Anyway, the HEMA thing is interesting because it's probably the nerdiest martial art I'm aware of, and that is saying something because martial arts are very nerdy. Because it's a resurrected, reconstructed martial art that died and has been reborn. Yeah. I got time for probably one or two more comments and chats, and then I probably need to run. But this has been a really interesting experience. Please add something to the chat if you thought this was worth your time and valuable, and then we might do it again sometime. Okay, flyer bags. These go over here. Okay. How's your garden doing? Okay, I'll give you the update. I've got the peas that are coming up right now. I've got some garlic that overwintered. I'm happy about both of those, but I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop because I still haven't fenced it, and I still live next to a forest full of deer. So I don't expect things to be safe until I get that properly fenced, and I still haven't decided exactly how I want to fence it. But yeah, I'm excited about the garden. I've got a bunch of plant starts sitting right over here underneath the light over there by the chop saw. I've got a whole bunch of pepper and tomato plants, which I will eventually offer on the altar before the deer. I'm a big fan of Todd Cutler and Matt at Scala Gladiatoria. It's been fun anyway. Nice to meet you all. Yeah, I love their stuff. Todd's workshop, his build quality on the things that he does is just mind-boggling. I like the chat. Hey, Steve, I've really appreciated reading your comments over the years. Thank you so much for watching the videos and for making your comments. It's been good to get to know you a little. Let's see here. Yeah, I probably better run. Thank you. I appreciate you being here, and let's do this again sometime. See you.